What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Wingin podcast. Jack, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How about yourself?
I am making it. Andre.
I'm doing pretty good. I mean, I'm annoying people, so that's fine.
Y'all been
Okay.
going, y'all been going heavy, and I say kudos to y'all because
Yeah.
I think what between you, Trey, J Biggs, Prime, like, hey, little risky got people going like, what?
Oh no,
Man,
on the risky front, I done backed off a little bit.
oh,
I
yeah, I
look,
saw you back.
I take my little shots every now and again when he say something truly stupid, but other than that, I leave him alone.
Y'all.
Like you somebody ask you what games you got to play, you put up a post of a bunch of games that ain't even out yet. I'm like, okay, so what are you playing?
Nothing. Playing the Twitter streets.
Yeah.
Playing Clout Chase, the game.
All right, but before we get started today, just a reminder, we did make it to round 3 of the BIPOC Stream Awards, and voting is open until June 30th. If you check the post/community tab on YouTube, I left a link to it. So once again, and if you're in the Discord, there is a link there as well. So let's make sure we do our part and support. Got till June 30th to get your votes in.
Yep.
So I know we're a little late, so we will be doing our switch to thoughts. That's pretty much the whole of this podcast is going to be. But first, we did get that DK Direct last Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday.
So, Jack, I'll let you take this away.
Well, thank you, sir. Nah, man. I mean, like I said when we did the reaction, like I've watched that direct 1,000 times over. I've watched reactions to the game. Right now, I would say the only downside since I've watched is this obsession with the lore of Donkey Kong and Pauline. I'm like, who gives a damn? Like, it's just like no one cares. Like,
nobody cares like that.
Because I mean, honestly, to try to find some correlation, I mean, you see the Zelda crowd, they fight hard because there's like what 3 timelines with Zelda.
Actually, it's more than that, but we ain't gonna get into that.
There's too much to go over with Zelda.
That's why I was like, just be prepared for the game. But like I expressed, I didn't think this was the direction that we were going to go in for Donkey Kong. I thought there would be some open world aspect, but I thought we were still going to be swinging around in trees and doing some stuff like that. But to kind of go into a mining direction, but understanding that all DK wants is his bananas. He don't care how he gonna get them. He just wants his bananas. But this dynamic between him and Pauline is pretty freaking cool. And if you want to do some form of lore, now you can understand why she's the mayor of New Donk City. And kind of how that whole thing is formulated around Donkey Kong, if you will. So looking at the gameplay, looking at the possibilities of what could be in this game, the boss fights, doing the unlocks and the upgrades with the skill tree. This looks like it's a content-filled game, but every piece of content serves a purpose. There's plenty of games out there that's like, hey, collect this, or collect that, and then it's like, all right, what do I get? Like, you just get a pat on the back. Thank you for taking the time for collecting this, because
job well done.
You're not getting anything from it. So, so I'm glad that if I do take my time to 100% this, there's going to be a benefit to it. So I'm looking forward to playing it. I plan to 100% it as well. I hopefully there's a lot more secrets within the game. And then also too, with the possibility of having 2 more transformations, because at least it looks like there's 2 more slots and those could be transformations for you to do those upgrades. So I'm betting on either the shark, I would say the spider, or either the frog. Like, those are like 3 of previous like animal buddies that Donkey Kong had in previous games that I'm like, okay, they could be some form of transformation. Not quite sure how that will work out, but once again, I didn't think the ostrich was going to be this buff ostrich that can fly and drop egg bombs. So
I don't think everybody called that one.
you know,
Called that
and the zebra, we've never seen a zebra in the game, so it's like, nah, you know, anything is possible
with a
Yep.
banana mohawk.
So never saw that coming. But all in all, I'm thoroughly surprised by this turnout. And like we said in the stream, this got to be the young guns. This got to be them. Like it's got to be them to where they're coming in with creative ideas and they're thinking outside of the box, and how this game could not only be something that's fleshed out in a solid 3D game, but then find some way to keep these two tied together, and that being DK and Pauline. Like going forward, that may be the new partnership for DK, to where Diddy and Dixie might pop in, and some other Kongs might pop in to do mini game stuff similar to what it seems like Diddy and Dixie are doing here, but they're not partnering with Donkey Kong anymore.
You think they're gonna give them their own game?
No.
Dixie and Diddy?
I mean, they technically had their own games a while ago.
Yeah.
I'm just asking just because, like, I mean, they can do a lot if they wanted to.
Yeah.
They could. Now, they could be going the route similar to what they did with Country. Because, you know, with Country, you had DK in the first one, but then DK got caught in the second one. So, therefore, it was left up to Diddy and Dixie to go and help out. And pretty much you played them the entire game. And then with the third one had Baby and
it was Dixie and Baby.
Dixie. Yeah. So, Baby and Dixie. So, because we didn't get Trixie until 3D. So DK64. So, I'm like, all right, maybe they can go that route of having them do that. But honestly, I don't foresee them getting their own game unless we talk about getting back into racing.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, Andre, your thoughts?
I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I was working during that stream, so I didn't get to watch any of it, and I haven't had a chance to sit and actually stop and watch it.
Oh, for real?
Sir.
I've seen screenshots pop up everywhere. I'm like, damn.
Oh yeah, you don't see them screenshots because I know a couple people like Donkey Kong got Luffy's Gear 4.
Yeah, I saw that, but I haven't actually had a chance
right.
to just sit down and actually watch it.
Okay.
Because every time I've wanted to, something has come up, and I'm like, damn, I just want a moment to sit.
I mean,
just give me 15
it's only
minutes.
it's 17 minutes. So once you get a chance, it is only 17 minutes. So.
Oh yeah, I'm going to do a proper conversation after actually watching it. But
okay, all right. Well,
the pictures pop. I was like, damn, I'm a little jealous. I didn't get to watch the
yeah. Well, I will say this. Y'all know I was pleasantly surprised so much to the soda that I pre-ordered it. So,
yep.
so yeah. Look. I know people was talking about like the visuals and all that. I think it works. The art style works for what they were trying to do. For what they're trying to do, that art style works.
Mm-hmm.
It just works. Especially with the transformations. Because I ain't gonna lie, the eyes were a little bit off-putting in those first steals they showed. But seeing that, now we got transformations, I see why y'all had to do that. Y'all had to do it that way. Y'all didn't have no choice. So I actually like the art style. I like the fact that it does look like the Odyssey engine for the most part. It does. I booted back up Odyssey just to see, and I'm like, yeah, I'm seeing this. I'm seeing this. I'm seeing the Odyssey engine in this. And they decided to give a Donkey Kong game the depths.
Everything has the depths, but I'm telling people can talk.
That's Nintendo's new Minus World. That's what that is.
Bro, like people can talk bad about Nintendo all they want to, but ever since we got Breath of the Wild, there has been a handful of games that have chose to copy either the run out and look over the field situation. We talk like, granted, Zelda wasn't the first one to do like the hand gliding stuff, but that was something that most people start paying attention to when it did it. The depths, I think I've played so far 5 or 6 games that have the depths in it. Like I'm playing Fantasy Life I right now has the depths, has shrines, and it's called the depths. It's not like I'm like, oh, it's just underground. It's called the depths.
It's like, look, we ain't even going to change the name.
Y'all know they sitting up in that meeting. Y'all know we plagiarizing this. Just go and go with it. Y'all know we
Like,
plagiarizing.
Nintendo don't own the word. It's
Yeah.
just, that's what it is. Like,
They were like, Nintendo don't own the word. Wait a minute. Do they? Do they? They don't? Good. They don't own the word.
yeah, it's I like I said, that it's a lot of influence, but yeah, the fact that this game, man, yeah.
And why they always making stuff like that's like that look fun?
It's I think somebody said it best. You know, Nintendo don't always hit it right on the spot, but when they get it right, damn, they get it right. Like they figure it out.
Y'all got me worried about what Kirby gonna look like when they do that with.
Oh, man. Well, the problem with Kirby is
Kirby already got body horror.
Kirby games, it starts out all cute and all that, but
Yeah,
that midway point, it just flips.
All they need to do is now make a Metroidvania Kirby game that is like the Great Cave Offensive from Kirby Superstar, but have you working tiers, work your way down, and then the further you go, the darker it gets, like Spelunky. But the darker it gets, the further down you go, the more treasure, the better the treasure is, but the worse the monsters are.
That's how Dave the Diver is like that. What is the other game? I'm blanking on it. Where you mine going down. They have like 2 versions of it. I'm blanking on that freaking game. But yeah, all of them the same way.
Are you talking about which one are you talking about?
Where you're the robot.
Steam World.
Yeah.
I was thinking that.
Mm-hmm. But they're the same way. So, but yeah, man, it's but yeah, it's one of those things to where I almost went to Best Buy to try out that demo, but I'm not driving 30-35 minutes to go do that because I don't live near a Best Buy. So I used to before I moved out into the boonies, but yeah, now and plus I don't even know if my Best Buy got it because some people were like, "Oh, we went and it wasn't there."
It wasn't there, yeah.
I was like, "I'd be damned."
It's not at every one of them because the one near me, they changed that one from a Best Buy to an outlet Best Buy. The other, they moved it down like 3X's. I'm like, I'm not driving out there.
Yeah, so, and apparently Walmart got it too. So
my Walmart don't.
Oh,
the only thing my Walmart got in there for demo is Mario Kart World.
So there's a Best Buy about 15 minutes away from me. I might have to pay it a visit.
Yeah, and apparently this is a new demo, so it's not the one that everybody played at the experience. This is the one that got the transformations in it. So,
okay,
yeah. So they're spoiling people.
Which I'm like, why didn't we get this on the freaking eShop? Like,
well, they got what now? They got 3.5 weeks now. So,
well, I think they didn't put it on the eShop because of people hacking and
that too,
getting the whole game.
Yeah,
because they've seen that happen a bunch of times.
I hate people.
Can't have fun stuff.
You can't.
You really can't. Not nowadays, anyway. So, all right, it's been a couple weeks, and as the title says, we are a little late, but here we are.
Right.
Your initial thoughts on the Switch 2. For one, I've already traded mine in, and y'all know I'm lying.
I'm about to say you got to create the video of why I got rid of my Switch.
Yeah, why
Nintendo fans are upset with the Nintendo Switch 2.
Why Nintendo failed me personally.
Right. They
Nintendo Switch 2 sales have fallen off. I'm
like, why Switch 2 only sold 3.5 million in 4 days and they could have sold so much more?
Hey, look, all of those titles.
So you mad that they didn't break the record more?
Yeah, bro. Some of this stuff, yeah, bro.
Oh, y'all twist this stuff up. I was like, Sony didn't do that in a month. What are you talking about?
It did. Everybody's favorite RDC World, boy. They
killed
it.
Perfect.
They knocked that mug out the park. But all right, so initial thoughts. Because I was a little late getting mine. I think I got mine last weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, last weekend. No, weekend before last. I got mine. I finally got my SD card. Thank God.
Okay.
Because that 256. Look, this is gonna be my complaint.
Everything taken.
We know because we've been through this with 2 generations now. We know these games are big. You know good and well 256 ain't enough. You should have had
Not even
another
close.
two in there that's
Not even
at
close.
least 512. I would have paid the $4.99 for 512.
Yeah.
I think I think it might have been more than that because they're using USF, so it probably would have been more than that.
512 is 512. I don't care. So
I'm just saying that
I would have
probably
paid for it.
that probably would put it up to 550.
Or at the very least, have the people that's making these SD cards do 512 options off the rip.
Yeah.
Off the rip, not waiting to see how they sell. No, do it off the rip. Like
Yeah.
I ain't telling y'all you got to make terabyte ones because we know people ain't gonna pay for that. Not off top. But 512, come on, man.
I mean, well, to be technical, you can't blame Nintendo for that one.
No, we can't. But I'm just saying they could have did something to make sure that was more available.
I think SanDisk and Samsung did not understand how quickly this. Nobody did. Nobody.
Yeah, I don't think they did because
if you listened online, everybody hated it. They was canceling their pre-order because they didn't have because of game key cards.
Yeah.
I mean, there were people canceling their pre-orders but still got the console. And
Yeah.
there are people that said don't buy the console to their audiences and that they wouldn't touch it, but
and then they went and got one.
Yeah.
I'm like, look, if all y'all got to do is just say, hey, look, I'm still getting it. These are the things that I see as problems with it. You don't have to like everything about it to air out grievances with some stuff. But don't sit there and say, oh, this is a bad purchase. Don't go buy this. And then you end up with one day one.
Right.
And not only day one, forget that you got it and start playing like Breath of the Wild and act like, oh, I don't know how I got this.
But you spent money.
Yeah,
you spent money.
Because they ain't send you nothing for free. You spent money. So
yeah. Exactly.
But
hey, Nintendo, you can send me one for free though. I mean, I'll badmouth some things, but you can send me one for free.
But the thing is, I would say that's probably like my biggest thing is I think they probably should have had at least a SKU with 512 in it at least, or at the
that'll probably come later. I get a feeling that's gonna come later.
Or at the very least, like they have their own 256 gig SD cards. They should have had their own 512 as well.
True.
So you could have did that at least. At the very least,
have a bundle with it.
Yeah, or have a bundle with
the card with it.
Because SD cards didn't even start getting more space until a little bit later on when they pop, right?
Probably about well, it depends because certain companies do it fast, like Samsung. They'll do it.
Yeah.
That's because they using it for all the other stuff.
Yeah. So the biggest problem though is that it's micro SD Express. It's not just standard SD. Like that's why so many people were pissed off about it. Like there's a reason it has to be that though. You want higher speed, higher load speeds and stuff. So it has to be that. It can't be standard.
Nope, it can't. So that would probably be my main gripe right now. Also, I think there's some, and of course this is going to happen when something new comes out. You have people over exaggerating what the back compatibility does. Yes, do games play a little bit smoother? Some of them do. It's not all of them.
Right.
No.
It's not all of them, and people need to stop acting like it's all of them. It's not.
It's only going to be the games that have like unlocked frame rates and stuff.
Yeah. So, but I will, like I said, I will say this though: the vast majority of the games that I have in my backlog that I was actually able to play, they do play like Yeast 8 plays a whole lot smoother than it does on Switch 1.
Got one caveat to that though, right? Even if they have a locked frame rate, if that game is memory bound, it helps too. Since Switch 2 has significantly higher memory bandwidth, then when it executes that game, it there's no slowdown.
Yeah.
So things like load times and stuff like that also it helps as well.
Because Age of Calamity got an improvement even though it's locked at 30.
Yes,
it does. But once again, and I laughed when I heard people say this. Oh, it plays so much better. I'm like, play one of them Divine Beast challenges. Dude, like Shadow, I think we just said this for every Warriors game. It's not the power.
It's the
the
engine.
engine.
Yep.
That engine
And nobody
is
wants
It's
to
like
believe
that on
it.
every system.
that engine is like 20 years old now.
Yeah,
That's
and if it ain't broke, we not. That's the thing. If it ain't broke, we ain't ever.
They like,
touch
look,
it.
we gonna ride this. We gonna ride this till the brakes fall off.
Boy.
Ain't nobody said nothing about Havoc. Y'all ain't gonna be saying nothing about this engine.
And I think that's one of the things too. Like Dark Void just put in the chat about Doom Eternal, right? So like he said, it does need visuals cleaned up. So that tells you a lot more than just, hey, we need the specs. Was a thing with regards to Switch One, right? Like you actually had to have your assets and all that stuff to cater to the device. And Doom wrote their own complete different engine to the point where it was a game key card on freaking other platforms, especially the one that just released. Because they do mega texels and whatnot, so they have a way of doing texturing that's different from what the SDKs for the platforms were originally designed. So there's going to be some issues there. There's going to be some breakup, and there's going to be some times where, oh my God, you're walking and textures are loading in front of you. So, and that's every platform. So, when you start talking about like the Switch is designed to run to be like, hey, I can run in 720p in my hands a game that normally would just be on a home console, right? You got to make concessions for that. You got to like make your game as if it's handheld first. Because you're trying to say, hey, look, I want to make this mobile. I want to make this game that normally is on the console mobile first. That's why a lot of times you saw concessions on the console side, like when you play Docked or whatever, there wasn't that much improvement, even though the clocks were higher and whatnot. Like there were a lot of developers didn't want to take the time to do that because their priority was the handheld part, like because you're developing 2 modes and they only have so much time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just one of those things. I try to stress that to people, and they don't seem to understand. They're just like, "Oh, the hardware," and I'm like, now we got a platform that's 10 times more capable on the GPU side, 4 times more capable on the CPU side, and some of those issues are still there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
it's
always
going to be
like
like
software and hardware. It's got to be software and hardware have to work together. It can't be one over the other, and people still don't understand.
And I'm like, you'll see this on PC. Like, what are we? Why are we pretending that this wasn't ever the case? Like, it was always this way.
I was like, go ahead, play Hogwarts Legacy, and move too quickly into an area and see all the popping that happens.
Yeah.
It happens. It still happens.
Yeah, it still happens. Yeah, it's just the nature of the beast at this point.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's usually why I laugh about people talking about this whole level of realism. I'm like, y'all don't want realism in games.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
You want some things realistic in video games. You don't want everything.
Not
There you go.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what games did you end up getting?
Me?
Yeah.
I wound up getting that I actually purchased was Street Fighter 6.
Okay.
I got that. I did play the demo when it first released, and I did enjoy it. So I was actually looking forward to actually playing it. So, but Andre, you are right. I am mad that they didn't give us a final fight. They could have just gave us a final.
They could have gave a final fight. All that they put you in Metro City.
And
it's in there though. It's in the arcade. When you go to the tournament, you can play it.
No.
Shadow new final fight game.
Yeah.
Like you can find an arcade game in there, but then on top of that, if they did that, but they didn't give you the other games in the series.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna do this, at least give me the other games in the series to be able
Streets
to
of
play.
Rage 14, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like when Streets of Rage 4 popped off, Capcom should have been like, "Hey, what y'all doing next?"
I started trolling, bro. So why you trolling?
I would have straight up hit that in you right after Sega dropped Streets of Rage 4 and be like, hey, yo, y'all want to do Final Fight 4?
Yeah.
I'd hit him right there.
Hit him straight up. So you saw they hit them up for Shinobi.
Yep.
So like I said,
and Sega even put it out there. It's like, hey, we want to see a Final Fight 4 because we want the crossover. I was like, y'all just sleeping on this idea.
Capcom, I swear Capcom is allergic to money. I swear they're allergic to money. I swear.
They
break out in hives when somebody gives them a good idea.
They're allergic to money unless it's certain games that make it.
Right.
And it's so crazy because like I don't know if everybody maybe just thought the same way that I did, but every game that I bought for this platform was the top 3, like, or if it wasn't the top 3, it was like the top 5 or whatever. Because I know, depending on what retailer, it's the Zelda, both of the Zelda bundles are in the top 3.
Yeah.
But I got the same 3 games: Street Fighter 6, Cyberpunk, and Mario Kart World. Like everybody's buying those 3 games. So I don't know what that is, other than like because Street Fighter 6 is the game key card, right? But for whatever reason, people are like, you know what? Because I gave my reason. That PlayStation 5 tax, I'm sorry, I'm not buying a $300 fight stick for you. I'm not doing it. If I want to play somebody online, like I have a fight stick and it works on my Xbox, it works on my Switch too. Does not work on my PS5.
Yeah,
I'm not buying a PS4 version to play on my old fight. I'm not doing it.
That's still the weirdest thing, is because we have actual controllers that work across all platforms, but fight sticks for whatever reason are always dedicated. I don't know why that is. And then steering wheels are the same way.
Yeah,
because it's niche and they know you'll pay extra for it.
That's so stupid.
Yeah,
because I literally have a steering wheel sitting in my kid's closet right now because it's for PlayStation 5 or PC, and I'm like, I don't have it anymore, so can I just play it on my Switch? Like, it should just be fine. I don't.
It should be. As long as it's USB-C, you should be fine.
You should, but it's
I have
not.
like 2 or 3 dongles just to make these things compatible with other platforms, and I shouldn't have to buy those things to get to force any of that. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
You should just be able to plug it in and it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, now that I think about it, I do want to say I did start a new game of Breath of the Wild. The additions do work. They do work. I will say this though. Once again, it's like it still plays smooth. So I don't know what y'all like. Yeah, you send up. Once again, it's back to those people that's like, oh yeah, see now that 60 frames a second just plays so much better. Like it plays the exact same.
Yeah, it didn't change.
It feels better, but it's definitely the same game.
It's the same. Like that's the problem is like when you're playing it, it's the same. Same with Tears of the Kingdom. Yes, now that you know that it's 60, or you think you know it's 60 because they told you it's 60, half of y'all don't have the stuff to actually confirm this or not. Now you're saying this plays better, but when I'm playing it, I'm like, this feels the exact same.
So that's why I'm not gonna tell you to put my tweet up, but why why I put that up there, because I'm like, bro, like all of us at some point have replayed the older games, right? Like, and I'm like, it feels the same to me. I don't go from playing a shooter at 120 frames per second on my PC and then jump and play Ocarina of Time and be like, oh, I just can't respond.
Yeah, like
no, it doesn't work like that.
My fingers don't work. They move too slow for my reaction.
My hand moves as slow as the frames.
It's matched to that frame rate, right? So even when it dives into the teens or what have you, right? Like, and people are trying to debate me and say the frame rate. I'm like, y'all need to understand the difference between fields per second and frames per second. When you playing on a CRT, you don't know that it's a lower FPS than it is because you're measuring fields now. So that's one of those other things where, and I get into a long conversation with people, and you can't really do that on Twitter. So when it starts diving into like 17, 16 frames per second or whatever, at no point do you lose control. Like now in older PC games or even newer PC games now, because those games are designed under like a minimum frame rate of like 30 frames per second or something like that, or 20 in some cases, when you hit that part where it's high frame time, you literally lose response. So that's where the unplayable comes from. But for a console, they already wrote that into the game. So when there is down, especially if it's a Nintendo console, they're like, hey, there's a lot of slowdown here. Let's make sure the input response is mapped appropriately. So when you're playing it, you're not like, oh, why can't I respond? Like, even if the frame rate is slow, you don't feel that way when you're playing. And I try to explain this to people, and I'm like, hey, why are we able to still go back and play this game and it's playable, even though the frame rate is crap compared to some of the modern stuff that we're dealing with now? And why are some of the modern games that we're playing feel less responsive than even that old classic game? And that was a conversation I was trying to put forth. And they're like, well, if nobody's going to go play that if it released today. And I'm like, why are you even... That's not the argument. Like, what do we?
Well, that
play, and it did release because it's on NSO, so people do play.
And either way, that's straight up wrong, because we get so many indie games that are made to mimic older games. So
Yep.
yes, it could still be something somebody would play today.
Mm-hmm.
Like, stop lying to yourself.
Yeah, basically.
Like Tears of the Kingdom has some real bad frame times depending on what you're doing, but it's because it's doing things no other game is doing too.
Correct. Yeah.
I'm like, this dude's like, oh well, the frame rates are so low, and I'm like, well, you tell me what other game is doing what that thing is doing CPU wise. You tell me what other like where are you going from the skies down through the ground into where else are you doing it with something that you just created?
Yeah, you can literally jump from one of them islands and dive straight down through to the depths. You can do that.
Actually, there's even one section where you have to do that.
Yeah, you have to do that.
We got games that just released right now that if you interact with the water, you just glide on top of it. Like what are we doing? So
right.
So comparatively, you're like, oh, well, this is a cell shaded game and it's doing this or whatever, blah blah. And I'm like, but I can go to heights that are not in any of these other games where you literally pilot a mech, and I can go higher than that game and go lower than that mech could go, and the whole world is interactable. And something that I built in the sky, I could throw it off the sky, it falls to the ground, down through the ground, and then destroys itself when it hits the ground or whatever. And all the particle effects and everything behaves in the way that it should. In other games, when it detects that there's a whole nother environment that needs to load, all that stuff reloads into memory, and you're rebuilding models. Like in other games, it just doesn't work that way. So I haven't seen anything that interactive physics wise. Probably since the last game I saw close to that was probably the games where you're with the Big Daddy and all that. I can't think of the name of that game right now.
BioShock.
Yeah, BioShock 1, right? And even then, that combat was kind of limited, but it worked the way that you thought it would work. Like elements worked against certain things. You can combine them together to do different things. Like obviously, electricity and water creates the effect that you expect, and it shocks things and whatever, right? But you could literally like there's floods in Tears of the Kingdom. Like there's like what do we? The first time you see the giant hands, you come across like these are things Nintendo didn't even tell anybody about. You just come across it and it terrifies you, and it's just a whole nother thing. And that's before you even go into the depths. You see them in the depths too, but like it came from the depths, and it's like I want you, and I'm killing you now.
Right?
And you're not even. You might not even be prepared for that. Like I'm over here doing like the first.
Got away, and they come grab you off the side of the road.
I'm standing up top. I'm like, oh, y'all can't get me. I'm like, wait just a minute. Wait a minute.
Like,
get your hands off me, brother.
Say exactly where you
I climbed on this hill. Oh, you
I still remember in that first time I saw the gloom hand slithering across the ground. I'm like, what is that thing? I was luckily on a mountaintop looking down because when they first come in, you hear the music get all distorted and the background changes, the tint changes a little bit. And I'm sitting here looking around, I was like, what is doing that? Then I see it down there through the trees, and it's just slithering along. I was like, what the hell is that?
I ain't going down there. I
ain't jumping down there.
So I'm just thinking, like, what other game has that kind of interaction? What kind of impact is made by a game similar to that? Like, I haven't really seen Banjo Nuts and Bolts, maybe. I don't know what other game. Don't
do that.
I'm like, what else? What other game lets you do that other than like what was the Sony thing they did where you could basically build your own game? What was it? Dreams. I think.
Dreams.
Like, I can't think of anything else that just allowed you to interact with objects.
And Project Spark before Microsoft took it down.
Yeah, Project Spark. So
damn insult to Conquer. I was about to say Banjo.
I remember at one point that's what the promise. That's what BC was supposed to be. That was at Lionhead Studios, I think. But he always over promised and under delivered in a lot of his games.
Yep, that's what he was known for.
But that was what that was supposed to be. Like you just, hey, here's a man and a woman, and you just do whatever and to survive, and you build tools, and everything evolves, and then everything evolves with you. So like the dinosaurs evolve, you like all that stuff was supposed to happen, and that's not what it ended up being. But like Tears of the Kingdom is exactly that, man. And I am gratefully impressed because I thought that this game was going to be like, the sequel to Breath of the Wild, and story wise, it is. As a game, it is not. It's much more than that. It
way different.
Probably should have been the Switch 2 launch game. Probably should have been. And
not really.
I'm only saying that. I'm only saying that because it did end up selling less than Breath of the Wild, and I'm thinking the impact probably would have been greater if it did come out as a launch title.
Yeah.
But then Mario Kart World introduces all the characters that you need, and
a cow.
Everybody loves that franchise.
That's all you need. It's got a cow. That's all you need.
And it has no hands. But
you got a cow and the bat too. What's the name of the bat?
Yeah,
the bat driving like this, straight up. Yeah. Like, I was just playing with my son. I was like, this is hilarious. Like
telekinesis.
Man, just in her eyes closed, just driving like.
So Jay, did you get your GameCube controller?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, me and Jay played yesterday.
Yeah, so this is what we're gonna talk about next, the NSO. So there's only 3 games on the NSO. F-Zero GX, which all y'all F-Zero heads, y'all better play. Y'all better since y'all just want F-Zero to come back so bad. Wind Waker
ain't played it.
Yeah, Wind Waker and Soul Calibur 2. We tried out Game Chat along with that. Game Chat works as advertised.
Yep. Yeah, and I worked as a new user. I had never registered yet. I had to go through all of that, and we set it all up. So
it does take a little bit just to do that, but it's real easy to get settled. I just go and just do it just to knock it on out. Because once you do it that first time, all you got to do is it's easy to just do it, just go into it. So.
It automatically creates a list of everybody on your friend list that has a Switch 2.
Yep.
So when you create a lobby, they're already there, so you can pick from them. Your most recent. So immediately when I try to create one, it shows Jay's name on there. Hey, do you want to start another chat with this guy? Like, it's pretty straightforward.
Sound quality is good. The only thing I will say, if you are playing a game in widescreen mode, and you're using NSO, you will not see your other people. You got to take it back to you're gonna have to take it back down to that 4x3.
4x3.
Yeah, you're gonna have to take it back down to that. But other than that, I mean, I heard him fine. You have any problems or nothing like that? So
did you use?
I was sitting far away from the Switch, no mic.
Yeah, I was sitting far away from mine too. Because the only thing I will say is I'm probably gonna have to get a new coffee table and just if I do that, just move it a little bit closer. Just because the way my living room is set up, it's not conducive. I don't want to have to yell. Essentially,
that's pretty interesting because I know like when me and Sandstorm did it, my sectional is like very close to my kitchen because we have an open concept for the house, and my Switch 2 is sitting at the bottom of a bookshelf right next to my entertainment center. We were just speaking just fine, and we could hear through, of course, the TV speakers, but he couldn't hear. My wife in the back with the freaking ice machine going off. Couldn't hear my mom, doing the vacuum cleaning and everything else. He couldn't hear any of it. But he could hear me and my son very clearly because we were doing 2 players on my end, and then he had playing on his end for Mario Kart.
Yeah, my wife had to yell because she was talking in the background when we first started setting this up, and it immediately muted her. So she had to yell to say, "Hey,
it's like your background noise."
Yeah. She was talking when it started, so it's like we're gonna
like we ain't focusing on you.
Like no sound. It's right under my sound bar too, so it sits right underneath my sound bar, so it mutes all that sound. It muted all the bass coming from my speakers. It just sounded like me and him talking.
Yeah, so I will say it's great. If you have a chance to use it, I'll go ahead and use it.
Yeah.
But you probably do need to play around with a little bit of the settings just because I have a 65-inch TV, so I had to use the expanded version because
the screen share.
It looks weird if you use the other one. If you use the other one, it just looks weird. And like I said, I have a 65-inch, so it looks weird on that. And I know some people have 70 and 75. I'm like, I know y'all can't look at.
I definitely had to fix it because it wasn't a problem.
Now, as far as Soul Calibur is concerned, Bandai Namco, y'all better not ever skip Nintendo again.
Yeah, man.
Hey, at least they gave it to us for quote unquote free. Because I was wholly expecting.
They're gonna make us pay for it.
Oh yeah, full price too. Oh, matter of fact, you're gonna have to pay $70 because we upscaled it.
Yeah. But
I got one more alibi for that for the game chat thing. Mm-hmm. The entire time that we tested that yesterday, we were both using wireless.
Yeah,
that's dope.
I haven't made an Ethernet cable dedicated for this. I don't buy Ethernet cables. I make mine. So for each device, so it's the perfect length going back to the switch underneath my cabinet or whatever. So I haven't made one for it. So I use the one from my Apple TV, which is right next to it. So I hadn't plugged it back into the Switch 2 at the time. So we're doing everything over wireless at that point. And I don't even have the best wireless access point in that room right now. I haven't installed it yet. So my worst access point on the furthest side of the house, I was getting 140 megabits or something down, and our conversation was clear. There was nothing while we were gaming online in the session.
Yeah, I forgot to check that. I actually forgot to check that.
So it sounded like it's really just an evolved version of what Wii U chat was.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it basically is, yeah.
But allows you to game with each other at the same time.
Yep.
Yeah.
While using the Wii U technology to do the casting off a tensor cord to the other person while you're playing.
Shadow, we're not supposed to say that.
But then here's the cool part too, right? This is the part that I think a lot of people skip over. My sister, her and her fiance end up getting one, right? And she was like, "Hey, do you want to hop on Mario Kart and do game chat?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." Now, mind you, she didn't have hers set up, and her fiance was asleep, so she was like, "I had to figure it out." So when she got it all together, I had gone back to the room and got into bed with my Switch. We're still doing the game chat wireless, and I think that is key because I don't have to stay in the living room for that.
Yep.
That is something I can do in my bed, no issues, no problems. If I want to do the camera aspect of it, Hori has got you covered with both the Piranha Plant and the regular one.
If mount it right on top.
And so I think that's super dope because, like you said, no headset needed. But I did plug in. I have a Logitech headset that has like the microphone to it. Plugged it in to the headphone jack, and she heard me clear. So it's amazing to be able to do that and to have that wireless in a nature to where I don't have to stay tied to my TV, and it just keeps the whole experience together, regardless if you want to dock it or not.
I got one minus, right, and it's a very minor minus. Need an additional USB port on the USB-C port on the back of the dock. Either that, or you bundle in an adapter inside of the camera box, so you can make that USB-C to plug it into the USB-A port.
It works. The A works. So
but it's USB-C on both ends, so you have to you got to either use a USB-C to USB-A cable or.
So that's what I did. So because I unboxed everything. And I was like, "Ooh, I don't remember what cable goes with what." So I put my C. So I did my C to A into my camera, and it worked fine. Because I remember they kept advertising that it has to be at the top for the C to C. But I tried both, so I got the same results on both ends. So it worked.
I didn't think about that. I forgot about that too. And there's one bundle with your Pro Controller. There's one bundle with
there's one just bundled just to be bundled.
Right.
So they said, okay, we know we made this functionality. Somebody gonna try it, so we gonna make it work.
Yeah. So it worked tremendously, but so
that would have been.
That also means that everybody that complained online that you have to buy the camera if you already own a webcam, all you have to do is
that was a whole other talking point. I was waiting for that.
I'm waiting for my other one to come in.
Any webcam.
Yeah,
I remember saying that nobody listened.
It was in the thing like, dude, just if you have one, just use it. They said
it in the fine print that you could use any third party.
Any third party, I don't understand why people were getting. At that point, that's when I knew people were just getting upset to get upset. Yeah, but that's the thing. Like that's when you knew people were getting upset just to get upset. They didn't care.
It reminds me of the Wii U days back when it only has 32 gigs of storage, but you could just plug in
playing the
any
games off
USB
of disc anyway.
hard drive.
Yeah,
Right.
and the vast majority of games are on disc. Like the full
And
game is on the disc.
And it plays
But why
off
can't
the
you
disc.
just buy a 360 cartridge and stick it on the side?
It's like, what?
What are we
Alright.
doing? I want to install a hard drive inside of here. Why?
Well, that's the only that is one thing I would actually. Well, I wouldn't say I would like.
What, NVMe probably?
Yeah, just so I can, because I got like a 4 terabyte hard drive.
Yeah.
That would take care of my storage problem right there.
So and that could be done probably like in like an update or something, right? Like say they come out with an updated model, and because since it's using that using that UFS channel, it kind of has what could be considered PCIe lanes. They're a bit slower, right? But you could effectively put like a 2 gigabyte per second drive in there, and get that, and you could have like a lane in there where you could just plug in an NVMe drive in there, and then you get whatever. It's not going to be the fastest, but you could probably upgrade your SSD storage that way. They could probably do another model with that ties in, and it won't use up all the pins inside the chipset, so you can still use it for everything else, for your micro SD and all that. Because if not, you're going to lose that connectivity. You have to sacrifice one for the other because there's only so much bandwidth on it. But I could see that being a update for the future for
because that's exactly what they did.
Switch to OLED or whatever.
They did an update, and we was actually able to do it. So
yeah.
So I did that for all my for all the virtual console games. I put all that on the external hard drive.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even have to worry about it.
So I'm curious, how you feeling about the Joy-Cons? Because I know your biggest gripe was the Joy-Cons for the first
being
Switch.
small. I like this. I like the size. It fits my hands well. Now I know why they made it there because they did for MouseCon, but I'll just pretend they did it for me. So
they did it for you.
Jay asked for it.
Yeah.
They did it for you. The screen is bigger also, so they had to stretch it, and then
But I do think like for somebody like me that I don't have small hands, like it actually feels because I do squeezing. I do fitness boxing on there.
Okay.
So it fits my hands better than the original Switch ones because the original Switch ones they're like right here in my hand. So I'm like trying to make sure I don't, drop them or something like that. And with these, they feel like it's in my hand as opposed to it slipping out. Like I don't even have to wear the things with them, the wrist things with them.
Okay.
Those. As I did try out the MouseCon thing, it ain't bad, but it ain't for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you got to find the right game.
You find the right game, but
I'm pretty sure Prime 4 will be the right game for you.
Play Welcome to it, so you can get used to it.
So I went back and watched the Treehouse Live for Metroid Prime 4. I don't think I like it on Metroid Prime 4. I probably just use gyro because I'm so used to gyro, and that's once again, this is just a me thing. I ain't saying this. Everybody else got the idea, but I like gyro. I'm so used to gyro. We've been doing gyro since the Wii. I'm so used to gyro, dude, that I don't really care for mouse like that.
Yeah,
I just don't.
Okay,
and I don't game on PC like that. So there's that too.
Now, I'm still of the theory that we will get a Wii Classics
probably
set up for it, which means that you will find a wireless nunchuck and Wii remote, and I am hoping they make that work for it too. I'm hoping they make that work for it.
And you won't even need the thing because all they have to do is put the same technology that's in the Joy-Con, and you won't even need the sensor bar anymore.
No, you won't.
Just point it at the screen.
Yeah. So, because I actually, for some reason, I actually think that's coming.
It has to.
I'm thinking the Wii stuff is coming. They just like they either like keeping that
time.
taking
their time.
Now, Jay, do you think that you will be able to do the motion controls and pointer controls with the original Switch Joy-Con? Because Metro Prime 4 is still a Switch game.
Yeah,
so do you think you can map it to the Switch 2 and then you'll be able to do your motion controls that way?
I'm pretty sure they have a way to do that.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna have that set up on it already by default.
Yeah.
That might be the move. Like I'm probably gonna end up using the mouse because when I saw Demetrius from NOA use it,
it looked intuitive. It's just for me. One, I ain't got time to be doing all that. That's too much. I ain't gonna be flipping back and forth between because I play on my pro controller.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not gonna be flipping back and forth and be like, oh look, well I can play this guy like this. I ain't doing all that. So I ain't got nothing to prove to nobody. I am not trying to impress nobody. Give me my pro controller, let me do my gyro, and let me destroy stuff and blow this planet up. Because Samus is Nintendo's freezing, so I need to blow this planet up.
Yeah, I was just
I need
thinking
to
kind of
build
like
the planet up and the whole race on it.
Yeah,
I was thinking like when you're exploring, right? Like you probably just want normal controls or whatever, right? But then when you know that there's like going to be combat where you need to be more precise, you can switch to. And I think I like the attention to detail on that too, because when it detects that you switch to mouse mode, the reticle changes.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, I don't even have to look down. So like I can do this, and I know that it switched and it recognized what I was doing, so I could. Switch is a pun, but I can. It knows what I'm doing, so I don't even have to look down to switch modes. Which is, I think Cyberpunk should have did that because I've been hearing complaints about Cyberpunk doesn't let you do that. You have to go into the settings to change it. Yeah, I think that should be something that should be auto detected on the fly in most games.
That's probably something they probably have been working on that one for a clip, and that's probably why it's not in there. They probably didn't even know that they could do that.
Yeah, maybe they should patch it in.
They'll probably patch
it in. Yeah. Because I mean, they're not the only ones. Because you can tell the ones that said, "Hey, look, we're going to have mouse mode." You can tell they just brought it from PC. Because if you look at Fortnite still has it as if you're pressing Shift. So it's like it doesn't even say ZRR. It has like
straight PC binding.
Straight PC lingo in there. So
we're taking the PC version. We're gonna slap it in there.
That's all they did.
Straight key bindings. That's wild.
They're gonna patch that later.
Yeah, they need to, because if you're just gonna leave that lets me know you really don't care. It's like, hey, it worked, don't it? Like, all right.
Either that or Nintendo about to drop a keyboard with this.
It works with the keyboard too.
Didn't they do a keyboard for GameCube?
Yeah,
the
big GameCube. You trying to get the wide keyboard?
Yep. Still have it.
I was sitting there, it's like I wish that they would do something else like that, just because of the novelty of it.
Oh, and for the record, that works. By the way, you plug both of them into the GameCube adapter. It works on Switch. I haven't tried on Switch 2 yet, but it works on Switch. Just go buy you a game on eShop. You can search for everything.
Tracking in the middle of your controller.
Yep. I got that full travel on that keyboard. That's a big boy. So,
to answer Nova Regen, I think it will. Actually, you could technically do it right now with the way things are set up. All it would really need to be is that they would have to set up something in the coding to communicate that.
I mean,
it's operating like that.
It's basically like right there. It's like right on the touch.
Because you can do game share.
Like we saw the whole situation. I don't want to like step on any toes of what we were going to be talking about, but we saw the whole situation with Donkey Kong, and everybody for a minute, myself included, was like, "Ain't no way this game is running on the original Switch." And lo and behold,
it is. Like, so I think Donkey Kong's playing around with it. They probably got another couple games that's playing around with it, and then probably by year 2 or 3, it's gonna roll all the way out.
Nintendo told you they were going to have games that showed that it worked with both. Like you just have to.
Yeah, but that I think they're gonna like they normally do. They're gonna piecemeal it out on some first party games just so hey, look, it can be done, and then they're gonna be like, all right, open the floodgates.
Got it. I get the feeling Fatal Frame is going to be one of the games that first gets that, because the Switch edition doesn't have any of the stuff from the Wii U version of the game.
Yeah, it don't.
You know what's funny?
That would be the perfect upgrade. Be like, oh yeah, you want to pay $5, you get all the stuff from the Wii U version of the game, and you can use your old Switch as a gamepad.
You know, it's funny with the whole keep your original Switch around, or if you don't have, and even in Doug Bowser's words, if you ain't got enough money for a Switch 2, buy a Switch. But a lot of people thought that was really condescending, but really, it's like, actually, you really can just still have a Switch and be okay with it.
Yeah.
But even too, it's funny. me and my best friends, we always make Friday references because that's just the best, one of the greatest classics. But it's just funny because it's on that Friday type stuff where they they heard like you still there's still use for your Switch, and they're like, man, they're just playing around with the Switch. They don't really, I really need the Switch. You just play. Like,
Oh, he's
you
playing.
see it? Yeah, you see him? You think he playing about his Switch? He ain't playing about his Switch. He know where you live. He know where your mama live.
You know what game you play? You know what game you play?
There's so many people playing around with this Switch.
Yeah. I'm just curious to see where they go with it, because right now it's like they just playing with it. Because I mean, even me and my son, we play Fast Fusion using that feature, and of course, it's not going to look as good on that Switch as it does on the Switch 2, but it was definitely playable. So I mean, I'm looking forward to see what they pull off outside of I figured the DK co-op was going to be similar to Odyssey's in the way of Cappy and you just kind of having some point and click here, but I'm looking for that first game of like, this is the game similar to like Split Fiction, to where your Switch player has this one and Switch 2 player has this one, and y'all just work in a co-op fashion to
that's what I was
game.
thinking about. Like a game like that, like should be definitely cross-platform for sure.
Yeah, I was thinking that they could do something like that, like if you get Namco to do it, bring back Pac-Man Versus, but up the scale of it.
Yeah.
Like when I watched them do Four Swords, I'm like, wow, so you don't need the GameCube and all those dongles anymore.
Yeah.
Like everybody hops on, you got a main screen in the center here, and everybody has their own perspective at the bottom. I'm like,
The only problem that would have is with Four Swords Adventures, because that had a different way it worked. Because you had your main screen, and then the Game Boy Advances all were different screens for your own particular purposes.
Right.
And it's the same thing with Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, which could come back.
It could. Yeah.
They could bring that back. So it just depends on how they do it. But I think Nintendo's on their way to rebirthing the Wii U through the Switch too.
So I got a question.
They've already called everybody out that hated it.
Yeah,
they already called everybody. They did it when the Switch was out.
I got a question, and it's ironically funny. I mean, I'm not trying to start a whole thing, but I've been seeing a lot of articles lately. The Switch 2 is an amazing, great console, but where are the exclusives? And I'm like,
I mean, we haven't seen Nintendo do a game a month for the last 2 years.
Like, you can't be serious, right?
PS5 is a great system, but where are the exclusives?
That was my whole thing, because I was like, am I missing something? Because usually
any Xbox console, where are the exclusives?
Like, because usually a launch is pretty light, because of course you're only gonna have a handful of games that come out, and there's gonna be a lot of remakes, remasters, things that get carried over because you can play your previous catalog for some consoles. But yeah, I mean, even in that nature, I understood what some people meant, because they were like, hey, Mario Kart isn't for me, so I need to have that single player story-based game that kind of draws me in, similar to Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. Then that whole thing changed when they saw Bonanza, but that's the whole But it's like I don't like this. Well, I don't get the mentality of everything just has to be dumped on day one, or you have to know everything from day one. It's just this microwave instant meal mentality of like, well, I need to know your whole layout for 2 or 3 years before I buy anything. Like, well, guess what? It ain't gonna happen. So therefore, you ain't gonna be buying it.
The funny thing about that, when people start complaining about that, you like, I can tell you're lying, because because as soon as I log in, I'm gonna see you playing Mario Kart World.
I think that's the other thing too. We're not paying attention to the timing. This system launched the first week of June.
Yep.
Like, it's literally
not even a month yet.
Technically, if Metroid comes out in November, that's still launch window.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah,
it's still launch window. That's less than 6 months.
Yeah.
So I don't know why all of a sudden we need 12 first party games before the end of the year. We started at half of the year.
Well, the
What are we
funny
doing?
thing about it is when they did that with the Switch 1, people forget that like Switch 1, people only think that Breath of the Wild came out. No, it was Breath of the Wild, it
Yep.
was Splatoon 2, it was
Mhm.
Arms,
Yep.
Mario
And
Odyssey
Mario
was
Odyssey.
Mario Odyssey was
October.
Yeah, we got the release.
Mhm.
We got the reveal in July.
Mhm.
It came out in October. We got like it was 2 more first party games because we got reveals for like Fire Emblem and the other one. I'm like, bro, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 for the end of the year.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
what are y'all talking about? Y'all got. I've seen
that's
people who don't remember, and I'm like, you can easily look this stuff up.
that is too simple, and
Takes
that's the
2
thing too.
minutes.
Because also too, I understand that, you know, Sandstorm, a lot of people that you see say that they're only doing it for conversation piece. Because they don't plan to buy it, they don't plan to play anything. They just want to use it for bragging rights. Because we're gonna see something, and this is me, and y'all can bookmark it because I feel like this is gonna happen. So come Game Awards, we're gonna see 3 games get nominated from Nintendo. Now, granted,
Jeff Keighley can help
Family category.
hear me out. I think Keeley ain't gonna have no choice because there's not gonna be enough for him to do that. So I think
he was
there's
gonna have a game out.
yeah, because there's nothing outside of Expedition 33 that people are clamoring about right now.
Yeah.
So then, if we genuinely get Metroid this year, if we know we're getting Bonanza next month, and then you have Mario Kart World right now. Now, what I'm interested to see the backlash that Tears of the Kingdom is going to get when it gets nominated, because that didn't happen with Elden Ring, but
it's gonna happen.
Tears of the Kingdom is going to catch.
If it even comes in the category list,
yeah, because you know they got re-reviewed, and now it's now the highest rated game because it got re-reviewed. The Nintendo Switch 2 version is higher than Expedition 33, and people got pissed off. It's like. But when we said this about the remakes and remasters being re-reviewed and renominated,
and
it was like,
not being nominated at all. Like,
right?
What are we doing?
so
I thought DLC counts.
So I predict that we're gonna get this anger at Tears of the Kingdom that's gonna get renominated because it won. What, Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom won?
Breath of the Wild.
I think Tears of the Kingdom won like action game or something.
Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom lost to Elden Ring.
Yeah. So now it's going to come back.
The second run of Elden Ring. No, it was the second one. Never mind.
So I got a feeling that not only are 3 going to be nominated, but Tears of the Kingdom is going to be one of them. Or it's 4. Excuse me. There's 4 games, but I think Tears of the Kingdom is going to get nominated, Bonanza, and Metroid Prime, because I feel like Mario Kart is going to get slighted because it's $80.
Yeah.
They're going to slight that game on purpose,
and they're going to try to use that as the excuse, and nobody's going to buy it. Nobody's going to fall for that.
Well, it costs too much, and I'm like, this is going to be an evergreen game, right?
They're going to. Yes. They don't know what that is.
Like 20 updates for this game.
They don't know what evergreen games are because most consoles. They don't
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the evergreeniest of evergreen games.
I'm just saying Mario Kart is the definition of evergreen.
Yeah,
right.
So
I'm curious.
And I'm just looking now because I know that one of these third-party publishers, they already said they're going to $79.99. So I'm trying to figure out which.
A bunch
of them was already doing it. It was already in the plans.
Yeah, Borderlands 2K was good. 2K's doing it. I mean, they don't have a choice.
Outer Worlds too.
Yeah, they don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Like these games cost too much. They do
have
a choice, and people sitting up here being mad. But I'm like, dude, you keep demanding. I ain't even say asking because they don't ask anymore. They demand all this stuff, and then get mad when they say, "Okay, $80." But y'all don't have no problem buying the super premium digital deluxe for $130.
I just saw people doing that just recently with Death Stranding too. Like, I just bought the one that's
digital
like,
now.
Yeah,
we ain't talking about like where you're getting the statue and the actual vinyl. No, you're getting a digital art book, a 5-track digital soundtrack, and you just spent $130 something bucks. But you complaining about 80.
Yeah.
When you demanded for full voice acting and full this and full that, I'm like, no, dude, it don't work like that, man.
So to talk about demands, how do y'all feel about game key cards? Because that's now the big conversation right now.
how I feel about it, get used to it because Microsoft got it on theirs.
Yeah,
Microsoft got it on Xbox.
Yeah.
Get
and
used to it.
PlayStation.
I've been saying
Both of them
this
do. So
I've been saying this since we've known what they were.
And they've been on Switch for the longest time.
Game key cards to me are better than getting the game code
There you
in the
go.
box. I'm sorry, I
I'd get
can't.
that.
I'd rather have the game key card over having the code in the box. Having the code in the box is an insult to me. Or do people forget
really
that
is.
Microsoft had, or was it Bethesda before they were with Microsoft, had a case that had a cardboard disc in it?
Yep.
Yeah,
Are you for real? Hold on, I don't
forget?
remember
in the
this.
box.
I didn't remember this. What game was
It was,
this?
That was,
I think it was Fallout 76.
Yeah, that was Fallout 76. Yeah. That was one of the reasons people got mad. That was one of the reasons people got mad.
I didn't know that.
I'd
I
rather
didn't
we don't
have the
forgot.
game key card than get a fake disc.
You get a code, bro.
Get
You
a
put the
disc
code
with a
in.
code on it. Oh, he ain't no
Yeah.
fucking way in the world.
So y'all see this, right? And I want y'all to see the leap in logic here, right? So you got 60, right? And they showing 60, and then they go to here and say, no, not for 80, right? They completely forget that, there was a $70 game in between here.
Yep.
That was Tears of the Kingdom. So basically, if they were going to do, quote unquote, a high value game on Switch, it was $70, not 60. So there isn't a $20 jump to next generation. And Donkey Kong Bonanza is $70. So what we got to do is get rid of BS like this.
Yeah.
Because people create these crazy takes, and we know why they do it, because your channel will blow up if you do this.
Yeah.
Because
sure.
hate for whatever reason generates clicks.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna do it, hate, but tell the truth.
Yeah.
This is disingenuous as hell. So
Yeah.
that's just one of the things I was just trying to like. And so right up here, we see what game it is. Outer Worlds 2. Boom, right there.
Yeah.
And that's, AI overview, but there's a clear link for this. But they're already planning on having all of their SKUs be $70. So I don't know what the hang up is, and magically nobody got no heat for that.
Well, because like Andre said, it's better than buying Monster Hunter and opening up your case, and what you got in the case is a key card is a slip of paper saying download your game.
Yeah.
Because
I'll say, Jay,
interesting tweet that you had, Shadow. So,
okay.
And I think RGT did the same thing. Y'all genuinely asked the question. Okay, it's okay. You're upset with this. What is the solution? If you don't want Nintendo to do this, what is the solution? Some of the answers I read, I was like, y'all are stupid, because there's no way a business is going to willingly eat costs.
No, they're not.
For you. Like that makes no sense to me. Like, there's a reason why they're a business. That's why we always state, like, they're not your friend. And they say, oh, greed. Every business is greedy. The whole premise of a business is to continue to make money. You spend money to do R&D and everything else to make more money. That's how you run a business.
Yes.
I have yet to meet a business and say, you know what? We earned $1 million this year. I think we just gonna cut it off. Like, that's not
We're just gonna give the rest of our product out for free.
Like, y'all got us there, so we're gonna stay stagnant at $1 million. If we make over $1 million, we're gonna give it back to you. Like, no,
the closest you get to that is Arizona tea.
Right.
my thing is this. So, like, if it was Nintendo's idea to come up with game key cards, why aren't they publishing it?
Right.
And so I put that out there and like, well, it's still their fault. Why isn't Nintendo publishing it?
If
it's so cheap for them to do, why aren't they doing it?
I'm gonna look at it like this. More than likely, third-party developers and publishers say, hey, we are not going to spend the money if it's just a 64 gigabyte game cards. We're not going to spend the money on a 64 gigabyte game card. Do you have another solution that we can use? And Nintendo said, well, we can give you a version of the card that has a minimal amount of space on it, so it just has the key to the game, and it will reach back to our or your servers and download the game.
Yep.
There's no other way that came about. It wasn't that Nintendo said, "Oh, this is here, you gonna use it." It was, this is an option you can use.
But
so
now
that conversation wasn't about the 64 gig cards. It was more like the 64 gig card isn't enough, and also we don't want to pay for it because like Street Fighter could fit on one, right?
Yeah.
Capcom is like money. and time also too, because like the game is 47 gigs on Switch 2.
Yeah.
So it could have definitely been on a cartridge, and they just said key card for whatever reason, and you download the DLC, and then it's there. Now it works fine. The implementation is great. I didn't have any issues downloading, but I mean, I probably have better internet than the average person, but it was done in like 5-6 minutes for me.
Yeah.
But there's other situations where I'm just thinking, and I guess that was part of the conversation I had with another fellow YouTuber, and I just said, hey, if this is such a big issue, what would your solution be? Well, I don't know. Make the cards cheaper, and I'm like, how could they make
They
it
already are. Cheaper? Here's the
are.
problem. Everybody thinks extra ROM is the same thing as NAND. It is
and
not.
it's not.
It's not the same thing. They are separate. They're similar. They're not the same. I've researched it enough to understand that they are different. Extra ROM costs more money, especially this version of extra ROM, which has the higher read and write speeds. It's going to cost more money. Like y'all have been asking for Nintendo to become on par with everyone. They get there, then you get mad about the way they had to do it, but you wanted them to do it. So that's on you. And game key cards. Oh, well,
Game 7 just started, so
they're being greedy. Okay, well, then blame the people that are using them. It's a solution. You don't have to like the solution, but you have to also understand why the solution is there.
But
I don't like that.
Go yell at them. Go yell at them.
I don't like that we have people sitting here getting beat up all the time, but it happens, and we need somebody to come out and protect the people that get beat up. And sometimes the people that are supposed to protect them end up doing the beating themselves.
I just find it funny to me that it's so easy for some people on the internet to complain as much as possible about anything that Nintendo does. As soon as it's on the third party, it's like, I don't know. It's like you put their head in the vice and they can't come up with a way to say the same things about the third party. Oh, Nintendo, they're being, oh my God, they're capitalistic and greedy and blah, blah, blah. Oh, so you're a socialist, huh? Okay, good. All right, what about this $1 trillion company over here that's doing this? What about this multi-billion-dollar company over here that's doing this? What about Sony doing this?
You know what's so funny about that? It's like they're like, oh well, they should have never gave them the option to do that in the first place. And that is how they ended up as NES to Super.
That's how they ended up 64 with very few third parties.
Let me get this straight. So what you do is you say, I'm tired of people getting killed and hit and runs, so you ban cars. That's what we're doing?
Basically.
Is that what we're doing? Or do you hold the driver responsible?
Yeah.
Especially if it's their job.
Yeah.
If you're a truck driver and you kill somebody,
they definitely get held responsible for it.
Yeah.
If you're a publisher and it's literally your job to publish, what are we doing?
Yeah, I don't understand it, because even looking at that conversation, there are some third party developers that are in a good space to where, like you've seen, they will do a Nintendo Switch 2 cartridge, but it's like a Switch 1 game in a way, and then you just pay for the upgrade, and then that way you get the Switch 2 version, so it comes out cheaper that way. And then you got those that says, hey, look, we're just going to charge you for it and you'll pay for it, and which to me is crazy, because with Mario Kart, $80 is egregious. But then I've heard that if you just put it all on the cartridge, we'll pay extra for it. Mario's on the cart. So, so that's $80. You just said you will pay an extra 10. Some even said they'll pay an extra 20 if these games were on cartridge and not on the game key card, but then got pissed that Mario was 80.
Like I said, they
can't figure it out for themselves.
But we'll pay $130 for a Supreme Digital Premium Deluxe Edition.
I'm going to go out on the limb here and say anybody, and myself included, anybody playing on PC shouldn't be complaining.
No,
shouldn't be complaining about this at all.
Yeah, PC should definitely. Nope.
Because PC went digital by the time Xbox 360 and PS3 were on.
Right.
Because you don't even see.
Should not be complaining about that.
You don't even see PC physical games anymore.
No, you don't.
You might
find exist on Steam.
No, it doesn't. Because even they had to change their lingo to where your you're not owning it. They had
No.
to change the wording for it.
Yeah,
This how you know people don't read their TOS.
Yeah, like that's
Oh,
how
no.
like when people
EULAs.
complain, when people talk about the whole owning system, I'm like, no, you bought a license to play the game. You don't own
That's
it because
it.
if you did anything to it, nobody can say nothing to you.
Exactly.
That's exactly.
But
people
do
don't want
something.
to listen to that.
Yeah, manipulate Halo and see what happens.
Yep.
You want to do
People
manipulate
don't
Halo
want to
and
hear.
let Microsoft find out.
There was somebody on the comment on one of my videos went back and forth with me over this. I was like, but you don't own the game. You own a license to the game.
There you
You
go.
don't own the game itself because you can't edit it.
Mhm.
And on all form and fashions, guess what happens when you try and play that game offline and you done messed around with it and then got back online? Guess you gonna be like they're gonna treat you like Nintendo and get that boy break.
So are you going to
And
go
if you tell
campaign
people-
against Microsoft and Sony and Steam once your modded game gets banned and you can't play on your PC anymore because it's tagged?
Every
I mean,
platform holder, whether they are a physical game console or a digital platform on PC or mobile, if you do something that goes against their TOS or the EULA, they can either brick what you own or remove your account, and you don't get the value back of that.
Yeah.
It's
Nope.
literally written out in plain text for you to see, but people don't pay attention.
It's just funny how they don't apply the same logic to the platform that you don't hate as much. I'll say that way. We're not gonna say what you prefer, but the system you don't hate as much, right? Any non-Nintendo system. Let's just take Steam for instance, right? Say you play the Steam Deck a lot, right? Go ahead, mod your Steam Deck because you say you own whatever you own or whatever, right? Go ahead and mod it so it automatically snatches free tickets from Steam and you're getting free games every time. And see what happens. See if you
That
log on
account
Steam
is
again.
gone. That account is gone. That Steam Deck is broken.
But you can do anything to your hardware, right? Watch what happens. Watch what happens.
But I kind of view it like Microsoft Office. Go out in my Microsoft Office and then try to sell it.
Yeah, ain't happening.
Hell,
See what happens.
you even got to
Full
try
copy.
to sell it. Just try to redistribute it.
Just redistribute. See what happens. See if you won't have Microsoft lawyers in your email and at your house. People won't have them.
Yep.
I'm like, bro, like you can't. I tell people this story all the time. You can't do nothing. If Sony finds out you got a sliver of their music,
Yep.
They coming for you.
They shutting you down.
Video, and if you keep playing around, they're gonna take your whole channel.
Hold on,
So you
but
ain't-
I thought that bad business practice was only attributed to Nintendo.
I mean, they were the last
I play
ones.
Xenoblade
to-
in my videos all the
How
time and they don't get struck.
They'll show you real quick how anti-consumer they are. Show you real quick.
Yep. Yeah.
I keep bringing this up because people forgot all about the whole thing that Sega did when it came down to what Shining Force, where they wiped people's channels and videos when they were releasing a new game. Everybody forgets this happened.
Yep.
But Sega is the Jesus of gaming companies, so
we
we can't ever talk bad about them.
It's the reason why they only do games right now.
Yeah, they took one for the team. They laid on the cross for all gamers.
Yeah, but one thing I will say, I have like a few cons for my Switch 2 experience, right?
Okay.
So one is a very small one. That freaking dock. I don't know. That door is just the flimsiest thing on this planet. I don't know
It's
why.
weird to put back on
It really is.
when you got the
Like,
cables. Yeah.
so I have so I didn't use the HDMI cable that came with it. I have one that's one of those like really thick
The bulky one,
cables. Yeah. So it does not like my Switch dock. It does not, because anytime I plug it in there, because it's so thick, it'll knock it over. I'm like, shit, so I gotta maneuver it like a certain way. I was like, just put some weight in this thing. Just put some weight on it. But other than that, when it came down to the eShop, I love how fast it goes. I wish we can get like a cart for this. And like I said, all this stuff is minor, but it's like a cart, because we were going on like this purchasing situation because the family went and do like game night. So my mom, she saw all of like the game show stuff. So are you smarter than the fifth grader, Wheel of Fortune, all that stuff? She was like, oh, just pick that up because it was on sale. And I'm like, okay, so I gotta buy it, go out, buy it, go out. I was like, can y'all just give me a cart? Like I thought, let's just add that one piece. But as far as anything else, I've had nothing but a great experience with this console.
Mhm.
You know, I didn't think I was going to need a grip because it felt so good in my hands when I was just playing the games I was playing.
Pause.
Then then I played Splatoon 3. And I was like, yeah, I got to get a grip because yeah, it's not, no, I'm not going to be able to do all that maneuvering while in handheld like that. So I end up going for the famous Genki. I went with their grip because I mean, when I saw their grip, I was like, oh, that might be the one I go with. And then they got in trouble. And so, like right now, they don't even have the word Switch on their website. They
Mhm.
like it's nowhere in sight. But you know what it is when you go to purchase it. But this, I mean, I got the Pro controller. The Pro controller is freaking awesome. I think today is my first day I saw the low battery indication for me to charge it. And we've been playing every day nonstop. The Joy-Cons, we love the Joy-Cons. I don't, like we said earlier, the only downside with the mouse aspect of it, you could tell this was kind of like an afterthought for some of the third parties. Because with Fortnite, there's still PC terminology in there. And then with Cyberpunk, it's an actual control option. So all the stuff I was hyped about of like switching back and forth like Metroid, like nope,
Yeah.
that's not happening.
So,
So they're gonna have to patch that. Civ 7, of course, works great because I mean that's essentially a PC game in itself. I'm mad at Geronimo and then I think also RJ because they keep mentioning the freaking what is it, the Getsu Gamma game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to ignore it, and they keep showing it off.
They're like,
and I'm
yo,
like, I
you
don't
gotta
want
play
to
this.
buy nothing else because I have too much right now. I can't even play Cyberpunk because I got so much crap that I've been playing with. But yeah, all of the games, the backwards compatibility with Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, Fighter Z runs amazing. You know, there's some better load times with Chronicles X, even without the patch that we're looking for that game.
Yeah.
Fantasy Life is running phenomenal because before the patch came out, the game ran good. I mean, it wasn't like it ran bad at all, but it didn't run like the PC and the PlayStation and the Xbox version. But now it does. You know, and then I guess they're trying to figure out like their update schedule because it's like all the other consoles get the update and then like 3 or 4 days later, the Switch 2 version gets it. But all in all, I mean, it's running smooth. It's fantastic. I didn't get the GameCube controller, but the camera, I watched so many other videos because I knew people were going to try to use like higher quality cameras. All of it looks the same. Like it all looks the same regardless of what you choose. I've seen people use an iToy. I've seen people use their cell phone. I've seen so many different things. But this, between the camera, the Joy-Cons are amazing. The grip, even the grip, I bought the charging grip. Initially, I bought the GameStop one, but I guess the dude didn't pay attention and he charged me for the GameStop one and gave me the Nintendo one. So, and that's a $10 difference. And so when I went back to take a look at it, the GameStop one doesn't even come out until I think September. So his miss, whatever. So it is. But yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed this thoroughly. I think yesterday was the only day we didn't play because we went to Adventure Island, and after we came out the sun, everybody was fried. We just like we going to sleep. So, but been heavy on Mario Kart World, Fantasy Life, like I mentioned, Yakuza 0, and I knew I had played this game before because I don't know why I didn't think I ever played this, but I played Yakuza 0 before on Game Pass. And so just kind of getting back into that. Sonic Shadows, that definitely should have been an upgrade for anybody that bought the Switch 1 version. I don't know why Sega didn't do that.
I don't know why Sega didn't do that.
That was a shot. I booted up Hogwarts Legacy just to see it. Because once again, that's another time investment. And I got that because, like I said, $28. You can't beat that. It was like that was a $28 situation. I wasn't gonna lose out on that. And then one game that was not supposed to be in my rotation, Pokemon Violet. That was not because the only reason why it's in my rotation is because my son had it. And then when I popped it in, I was like, hey,
they got you. They got you.
This is because I played it one time. He was like, "Dad, try it out." I turned it on. I was like, "Ew, what's this?" Like everything just ran horrible. And so
Ew.
I popped it in now, and I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, let me see. Further in." Next thing you know, I'm like 3 badges in, and yeah. So
Hey, look, hey, Pokemon Company, we got them now.
I don't know. You messed up and played, bro. You messed up and played.
that
Like,
because
I'm invested in these stats. Oh my god, I can't.
It's actually good.
That's one thing I will say. I don't know any other console generation to where the back catalog is now getting like a new lease on life because of what they ran like previously. Now, I've seen one game that I wanted but stayed away from was Brothership, and somebody's already tested that out. That runs smooth now.
Yep.
I saw that Princess Peach Showtime actually runs a lot better now too. So
and that didn't run bad.
Yeah,
and it's
apparently there was
upscaled to
like
4K too. There's a bigger color space too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like brighter and crisper.
So I mean, everything has been solid. I've watched the channels that say we're talking about how to like fix the HDR problem X, Y, and Z. I was like, I ain't having no HDR issue. Like my LG TV has a game option with HDIG and all that stuff, so it worked fine.
I think that's for like people that don't have that option on their TVs because a lot of the TVs don't have, like the newer ones have it now, but a lot of the ones, especially if you bought that OLED probably around 2018, 19 or something, it don't have that option in there.
Yeah.
So, like the ones I think the pandemic and after all have that option, the gaming option, because I think the ones before had the movie option, a movie theater experience, but it didn't have a gaming option. Now, because mine actually has a gaming option.
So for me, right? We have other fellow YouTubers that a lot of people claim to be AV experts and stuff like that, man. But it's just bandwidth at the end of the day. Like it's still a computer. It's pulling bits per second over bandwidth, right? So, my thing was I put it on auto and watched what Switch did. Those that follow me, y'all probably saw me comment this on YouTube elsewhere. But I just watched what it did, and I'm like, oh, okay. So it's kind of prioritizing whether or not you're indeed capable of 120 hertz and what resolution you're capable of that at. And if you're not capable of it at the highest resolution, it may jump down to try to do it at a lower resolution. It'll say, hey, look, we're prioritizing hertz over here, and your TV doesn't do 120 hertz at 4K, so we'll jump you down to 1080p real quick. And some people are finding that out the hard way. Say, hey, why am I playing this game? Why is this game being my TV is scaling this at 1080p instead of up to 4K like it should be, because your TV doesn't support that range or whatever. Now, typically, if you just have it on auto and you don't manually set it to whatever at first, it will negotiate and say, hey, look, the game that you're running right now is only running at 60 hertz anyway, so we'll just go ahead and jump to 4K, even if your TV doesn't have a 120 hertz option. And even if it does have a 120 hertz option, right? Say you do have a 120 hertz TV that works up to 4K or whatever, right? It will say, all right, we're just going to jump to 4K 120 hertz, even if the game runs at 60 or whatever. We'll just optimize for that and then go down from there. And that'll determine whether the tone mapping is on and all the other kind of stuff, because you have enough bandwidth for it all the way through. It just wants to determine whether you have 10 bits per second or 10 megabits per second to pull everything through. That's all it wants to know. So if you have that bandwidth or whatever, it'll do it. If it doesn't know you have the bandwidth, it'll disable it. And then you'll find out the hard way on the back end. But make sure you're using the right cables. Make sure you don't buy cheap HDMI cables. Please use the one Nintendo put in the box for you. If you don't have like Jack, you got the thick probably 240 hertz cables. Because I have those too for my TV upstairs. Because I have a 240 hertz TV, so I'm like, whenever I plug it up or whatever, everything is good. And I didn't have those issues until I came in my office here, because I have a display over here that over mini DisplayPort, it only supports 60 hertz at 2K. So when I play 1440p, it's only 60 hertz, but it'll do 1080p at 120 hertz. So when I connect the mini DisplayPort to HDMI, then I have that issue. But it's only here when I capture it in my office here. So
Yeah.
that's what let me know that was a thing. But I'll get off my soapbox about that. But just watch it, put it on auto, and see what it does. See your TV, and then just go from there.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
good. But other than that, I mean, I have a third party dock because, of course, I have other devices. So there's one that I got from who is it? Skull and Co. I had a dock to where it worked with my original Switch and also worked with my Odin 2. Does not work with this. So I tried my dock that I have with my ROG Ally. Doesn't work with this. And then because I know there's like this one third party dock that's out there on Amazon that people would say stay away from, and it's like it works, but then it has some issues here and there. So I'm waiting for a third party dock to pop up. And then also I have my X-Real glasses. That doesn't work either. You have to, the only way you get AR glasses to work, you have to go and get whose is it? I forget the company's name, but they have a dock, like a station, like a hub station, and all the glasses work with that station. You just have to plug it up through there because I guess the glasses don't have the same have the power to do the pull or whatever, because even with my Beam that I have with my X-Real glasses, it does not work. So all the people that were trying to utilize it, like with their Quest 3 and the capture card and all that stuff, no. So I don't know what they did different, but third party stuff is just it ain't happening. So I'm waiting for that to get released. So that'll definitely come in time. My SD card did show up from Lexar, so I got the 512 from Lexar, which that got delayed twice. That was supposed to be here back in May. Got pushed all the way out until like the 13th of this month. So I finally got that, and then like I said, I'm waiting for my grip. I got one from Savage Raven, which is what Skull and Co was, and I didn't pay attention, and they don't have a cutout for the kickstand for some reason.
Oh wow.
So it's like, okay, well that's a waste, because it was just a TPU case that I want to put over, because I just wanted to have the protection, but end up going with, like I said, Genkai. But so far, like I said, this has been an amazing console, and of course my next purchase is definitely going to be Donkey Kong. But just interested to see what else comes out, what else is used in MouseCon going forward, what other lives are going to pop up. So it's just it's a whole thing, so we'll see though, for sure.
It's an experience, I'll tell you that much.
It definitely is.
So, all right, we'll go on and get everybody's final thoughts, because it's going a little late. All right, so Shadow, final thoughts.
So for me, my final review of the hardware will mimic IGN's 7.0, not good enough. No, for real, seriously, it is a phenomenal experience. They learn things from their competitors, and it's there. So out of the box, you start your system, and it's like, hey, sign into the internet and stuff, and then we'll bring over your account and all that kind of stuff, and it just did the thing. I didn't even have to do it. I would recommend everybody not do the system transfer. Just don't do it. Sign in, right? And all your games are there.
Yeah.
There's no need to do that, because you if you have NSO, you have Save Data Cloud, all your stuff is there. So when you put in a new game, it sees your save and then it brings you over. I had no problems with that at all. All the accessories and all that stuff that I have worked flawlessly out of the box. Just tested. I just tested the camera yesterday, right before, right after me and Jay did our voice chat test. All that stuff works. Everything they advertised in the way that it was supposed to work works in the way that they said it was supposed to work. Third parties, I'm not grading that on the platform, and because they're not going to take advantage of the system the way they're supposed to anyway. Nintendo is obviously doing what they're supposed to do, and I'm pleasantly surprised by Mario Kart World. That game is it is literally, you took Xenoblade and said put Mario Kart in it, and that became the thing. Like, you're literally driving across a Xenoblade landmass, and that's amazing to me. So the fact that Nintendo has said we're going to take this extra horsepower and not just make it something for you to look at, but something to play through. I like that, especially with the promise of like Donkey Kong and some of these other games or whatever. They're actually going to take advantage of the new technology that's there. Physically destructible environments and stuff like that. As far as the technology itself, it is amazing because they literally took an SoC that didn't exist yet and another one that that NVIDIA was working on and said, we're going to fuse both of these together. So now you have an Ada Lovelace and an Ampere architecture all together. And people are going to argue with me about this, but I'm like, if you look at a Lovelace layout, that's what those extra cores look like. And that's why they're there. Number one of the other reasons they tell you, if you look at the World Tour or whatever, they told you they separated them that way for heat and performance as well. So they spaced everything out to say, hey, look, on this core, we want everything that's really hot to be on one side and everything that's not as hot to be on another side, so we can actively cool all this stuff. So they spaced it out that way because they learned that from Ampere moving on to Lovelace. So they put everything there, and I really think the custom logic is there too. That's why people can't recognize what version of DLSS is running and stuff like that. As far as downsides, it's not surprising to me because I've seen this on PC with DLSS. Transparencies, whenever DLSS has to play catch up on a frame, you'll see like transparencies and reflections. You'll see like a little bit of a ghosting of the transparency depending on what game you're playing. So that's how I was able to confirm that DLSS was being used in Street Fighter 6 before Digital Foundry did. And obviously it's there in Cyberpunk and whatnot. You'll see that if there's like transparencies or reflections a lot and stuff like that. But that's just part of the hardware itself. It's going to be that way no matter whether you play on PC or whatever. But it's better in a lot of ways because it's doing it at lower watts and you don't see the issues as much as you would on PC. So where you will see a lot of ghosting and trailing and stuff in the PC version of DLSS, you don't see it as much on this platform. And Nintendo's doing some kind of like, obviously they have a custom version of it that they've been working on for a while, so that's why it's there. So for hardware wise, you couldn't get any better for the price, especially if you look at Nintendo's price in Japan. $300 is crazy.
Yeah.
So like they're legit either selling at a loss or they got a real good deal from NVIDIA. But again, what did I say? Nintendo does deals 10 years at a time. So they had this deal worked out back with Switch 1. So I am pleasantly surprised. I'll pay the tariff tax or whatever for this system. And yeah, it was so good that I definitely won't be surprised we have a second one in the house pretty soon. So that much I will say. So as far as the games, obviously the game's good. I love the Joy-Con whatnot. The Pro controller is superb. GameCube controller superb. Can't figure out whether Rumble is on or not when I play Mario Kart World with it. I play Mario Kart World with it because my son wants to play with the Pro controller, so I play with the GameCube controller. But I can't tell if Rumble's on with it. When I played, I don't know if we had Rumble on. I had Rumble on when we played Soul Calibur, so I felt it then. But when we played Mario Kart, I don't think it was on. But I may have to go into settings and check that. But obviously the motors work. But other than that, I don't really have any major complaints other than some of the other minor things we talked about. Like I had an issue with connecting the voice chat, and like initially instead of showing me the barcode, it went to a white screen. And I think it's because I had Street Fighter 6 active at the time. So some games will take over the OS temporarily. And I think that's because that's not an issue with the Nintendo games that I've played. So Mario Kart World and World Tour or whatever, like I can do whatever I want to in the background and I can close the app and it doesn't do that flickering thing. But when I quit Street Fighter 6 or Cyberpunk, it does. So
interesting.
I don't know what's happening there. Maybe that'll get fixed in another firmware update, but obviously those games are doing a little bit more under the hood to take over some of the OS resources. So that much I will say. Other than that, if there was a 10 scale, I would probably say 9. Yeah, it's a pretty good console. It's a next generation step. Like there's no AI upscaling like that on other platforms right now. So that's the future.
All right.
Yep.
Andre.
Well, as I am going to be living vicariously for a little while,
Okay.
And look, I had to get a van, so that had to go be on the back burner.
Yeah.
Priorities.
But knowing that a lot of the things that I talked about, the stuff that I was interested in seeing happen, actually ended up happening, I'm happy. So
Yeah.
look, people can hate on me for saying that I can kind of predict Nintendo, but I do. So if y'all want any ideas for how Nintendo might move next, then you probably should come to my channel. Just
There
saying.
you go.
There you go. Hey, facts is facts.
Yeah,
So, overall, I think it was a good launch. There's some games I would like to see, yeah, but I think some of those games we're probably getting toward the end of the year. We're gonna get a summer direct at some point. Nintendo always does one, so they just wasn't going. At this point, I knew they wasn't giving it to the Keeley. They weren't giving it to Keeley.
Nah.
So I mean, so we're probably getting one. If it's not June, it's going to be sometime July or August, late July, early August. Like I said, they always do because they haven't said what's coming out in the fall, and they're probably gonna give that hard release date for Metroid Prime during that. We'll probably get some more stuff for GameCube NSO as well as N64 NSO. Because for some reason, I still think Conker's Bad Fur Day is coming to that N64.
Really?
I think it is.
Dude, when they gave us Killer Instinct Gold, I'm like, yeah, Conker's coming. Killer Instinct Gold and Perfect Dark.
They gave Banjo Kazooie. They gave Jet Force Gemini, Perfect Dark.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that might be part of the Xbox partnership then.
Yeah.
That they've been talking about. Yeah.
Because there is a big Microsoft thing. When you go look at it, it says Microsoft. Microsoft made sure to say, no, we own that.
That's wild. They went back to the original date. They went back to the original date, and they now owe the copyright all the way back to when Nintendo owned it. They put 1996 Microsoft, and I'm like, y'all weren't even making consoles then.
Yeah, they weren't.
Wow. All right.
So, but yeah, I think we're going to
all the way back to make sure they owned it.
I think we're going to get some more titles and stuff like that, but I do think we're going to have another one probably before. Oh, I know it's going to be before Tokyo Game Show, but probably before either Gamescom or Paris Games. I think they're probably going to have a direct or something like that. But other than that, yeah, I'm having fun. As far as like the games that need an upgrade path, yeah, I think Sega did that on purpose with Sonic, though.
We know it.
So I'm like, just to see like who's gonna pay for it and who ain't. I don't like that they did that, but hey, whatever it is, what it is at this point. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's working out. I mean, especially if you have like a big collection like I do, to go back and see some of those games playing smoother. Hey, it works. So kudos to Nintendo for doing that. Yeah. Happy to see where it goes to going forward. So that's going to do it for this week's podcast. Thank you, everybody, for showing up in the chat. We appreciate you guys. Don't forget, when you have a chance to check out the link, go to the BIPOC Streamer Awards if you haven't voted, and make sure you get your vote in. We still have through June 30th. So make sure you get you guys' votes in. Other than that, we will see you guys next Sunday, 7 p.m.
Hold on. Don't forget, Sandstorm mentioned the debate for Thursday.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Check out the Sandstorm show. Probably be on my channel too. But yeah, there'll be a debate about 9 on Thursday. So 9 EST. Check that out. I'll be on there talking to the guy that already talked to Nintendo Prime and Player Essence. I may or may not be as nice as they were. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. You will see.
Ooh, that's gonna be funny.
Check it out. And
yeah.
Just check it out. And we'll catch you guys next Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, people.
Peace, folks.
Later, y'all.